And we are back. Round 3, Game 1. Alex Wang versus Souk Pangnathip. Vampires versus Venser Tapout fight. I'm Pat Holland, and we have JT sitting next to me, my co-host.
What's going on, man?
Watching these matches, we have Vampires versus Venser Tapout.
Mono black.
Mono black Vampires, not black red.
But black red is a little better. Mandatory reach.
Hero of Oxid Ridge.
Love that Hero of Oxid Ridge, man. I like the Baron too, because a lot of times vampires will get them down low enough, and they just can't finish them off.
I'm a big fan of mono black in the first place. Like Vampires, I'm a decent fan of. That was actually my first deck that I've ever played.
I think
for when it came back.
I think Hero of Oxid Ridge gives the deck another way to win besides the whole combo with Highborn. And I mean, you wouldn't think, but Leyline of Sanctity kind of shuts this deck off.
Souk, I think, does that a couple times.
Leyline of Sanctity shuts it off. Leyline of
I think it was a non-televised match that we had.
Leyline of the Void shuts it off too. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Leyline's kind of hurt vamps.
We have this is going to be kind of good. Being able to see these two decks. It's an aggro versus a non-aggro. Although Souk's deck can go switch on to aggro if it needs to with the Blade Splicers.
Yeah.
Blade Splicers are very key. It's kind of funny because every time I end up playing against Souk's deck with the Blade Splicers, he gets really annoyed once I play my Phyrexia Metamorph and copy it.
Yeah. For sure. And then just trade away.
Yep.
He's pretty good. He gets you a lot of value.
He does. I'm a big fan of Phyrexia Metamorph. I think it's probably one of the most underrated cards that came out of New Phyrexia.
I mean, it's interesting. It's funny what you can do. All you do is take a clone, cut a mana cost off it, and let it hit artifacts. Three
mana for whatever you want to do is whatever you want to copy is pretty huge. And God forbid someone decides to throw shenanigans
it's pretty good.
Liquid metal coating. You liquid metal coating a planeswalker, and you bring in a copy of the planeswalker to legend rule it.
You could do that. I mean, you could even put it in Architect.
You could
copy your Architects,
which I believe I did in a fun game.
You copy
at
Architects,
Seth's
or you
house.
can just copy whatever, any of your giant bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And they cost like nothing to cast.
Spell Pierce out a Sign in Blood. Yep.
Cage Sun is pretty good.
I don't like Cage Sun, to be perfectly honest. I'm not a big fan of it.
An Architect. I've been messing around with it.
Maybe I'll give it a shot, but honestly, offhand, I didn't like it.
It was Tony last week, a player from Toys and Things, gave me the idea.
Tony?
I think it's Tony.
He was from Toys and Things?
I think so. I know he was from Toys and Things. Maybe I have his name wrong.
Maybe, I don't know. There was some people that were over there that I didn't know this week.
He was playing.
Because I know there was people from Pandemonium that showed up.
Yep, I played 3 Cobblades last week.
Sorry.
It's okay. I won one match. The match I won was the match I did not draw any Primeval Titans.
That's interesting, and that is the Blade Splicer we were talking about.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's kind of weird winning when you don't draw Primevals, isn't it?
It's a bit. Don't really know how I did it, but I just got there.
You don't have to know how you did it. You just need to know that you did it. It happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So looking at this, it goes away the Blade Splicer, taking away first strike capabilities, which is huge considering that he's playing the aggro deck. And there's a Lashrith, which is gigantic. Well, not now, but it's a gigantic play.
It is +4/+4 right now, so it's 4/4/4. Pass the vanilla test. Outclasses the gold. I think the part I like most about Lashrith is that it equips for Phyrexian Black.
Yeah. It feels almost kind of like...
Tumbleman? Foil Tumbleman.
Yeah, me and Souk, we all have our Tumble Magnets foil. Well, I'm missing 2 or 3. He has all of his.
You are a baller.
Shot collar.
Alright.
You know they're going for $20 now.
Really?
I thought they were still at 10 when I was trading for it, and they were like, oh, it's 20.
Away at 10.
I ended up trading a Baby Jace for it.
I don't know. I can't remember what I got from you guys for that, but I got a decent little haul. I was happy.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not going to screw you over, especially in trades.
For sure.
You're my boy, Jay. You're my boy. So I got a Tumble Magnet and a Golem on the board, facing off against a Viscera Seer, a Lashrith, and the big boy, the big badass Abyssal Persecutor.
I can't say that I like him as much as like a hero in this deck, though.
Oh no, I mean definitely not. However,
but I mean,
equipping him with a Lashrith, swinging in and eventually getting rid of it, it's pretty good.
Because you have the Seer to just sack him away.
Yep.
But he can just get tapped down now, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's basically time walking all that extra damage.
I think I just swing anyway here.
No reason not to.
I don't think I'd quit. I think I would swing with the Lash Wrath, too. Because you can afford to race. Now, let's see what he does.
Another Lash Wrath.
That's big game. Double high five. He's going to mail it.
Spell Pierce. And that's a positive play. If he has Souk at his face enough against 2 of those, I don't like his chances.
I do not. Means he's got 17 power on the board. And do we have a Sun Titan here? No?
I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
Nothing really to recur, so there's no... You're not in any rush to play it. And you could still be getting in there for 5 damage. I think I'd be swinging with the Lash Wrath as well.
Might as well. I mean, honestly, if you swing and he kills your Germ token, what does it really matter?
A Nighthawk? This is the kind of deck. I'm telling you, man, that Mortar Pod.
Without Lightning Bolt, I think Nighthawk is probably... Without Lightning Bolt in the format, I think Nighthawk is probably one of the better creatures. Lightning Bolt shuts it down from seeing tons of play. Because, think about it. It's 2/3.
It's a great 3
for
drop.
3 abilities. It's probably one of Black's better 3 drops.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
For sure. But, I mean, Black has such good creatures.
They have good creatures. I don't know, like, Mono Black is always missing, like, that 1 or 2 things that would set it as its own deck. Like, Mono Red you can play. Yep. There's no issue with that. Like, even if you have to fill in spots with artifacts for a Mono Black, like, it's still Mono Black, but it's just missing something. Even Nantuko Shade, which was such a beating in the past, over in Torment.
Just didn't see it.
Doesn't see play.
Creatures are too good now, man. Why play Nantuko Shade when you play Gravetide?
Yeah, you're going to be trading mana every turn to do damage. You're tapping out for stuff. You can't leave mana open to really
Doomblade in turn or anything
go
like
for
that.
the throat or...
Removal.
Yeah, I mean, it's very
things you
mana
just
intensive.
need to get rid of.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, Nantuko Shade equipped with
Red Deck Wins
Lash Wrath
isn't a control deck. Mono Black Control is not going to be a better deck than Blue Black Control.
Mono Black needs to be more of an aggro deck at this point. We'll see what Innistrad brings, but Black's discard suite right now is very sexy.
I mean,
you can run
you could do a Mono Black aggro deck. You could definitely do a Mono Black aggro with Persecutor and Vampire, Lacerator.
Yeah.
And even what's the other one? Pulse Tracker.
I really like Pulse Tracker.
I don't like him as much.
I like him a lot better than Lacerator, personally.
I would rather have the Lacerator almost always. It's still a 2/2 on turn 1.
It is a 2/2 on turn 1. However, I just don't know. I just always like Pulse Tracker. Maybe it's because like every time I've played it, it's also been like a multi-format thing where I'll swing.
I'm a big stats guy.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm big on. As a 2/2 for 1, he passes the vanilla test for sure. For sure. I have been running the casual room with a red-black aggro deck. Lacerators, Geopedes.
And that, I believe, is the last counter on the Tumble Magnet, tapping down that Abyssal Persecutor.
He will be getting in there next turn.
Assuming Souk doesn't hit another Tumble Magnet. The guy does run 3 or 4. No reason not to.
If he had a way to sack it, he could recur it with the Titan. Yeah. But that would make him run his Titan into the Nighthawk.
Mm-hmm.
Not optimal.
Not really.
Definitely not. I actually think Vampires is a decent matchup.
What's really amazing here is the fact that you can equip that Lash Wrath onto that Nighthawk and start gaining shit tons of life.
You can, for sure.
When I was playing Mono Black round 1, I believe I beat a Mono Red. I believe Neil was playing it.
Yeah.
I made my Nighthawk an 11/11 flying lifelink death touch. There's not really much you can do against that.
It's true. You can't block it profitably.
Can't do anything against it.
You got Venser. Venser's going to bounce that Tumble Magnet.
And that's the bread and butter of the deck, Venser.
I mean, here you got to swing in. You have to equip the Nighthawk, swing at Venser with both the Nighthawk and the Persecutor.
One will get through.
Yep.
But you're equipping the Lash Wrath at the same time, so.
But I mean, that's fine.
It's pick your poison of what you're going to take.
He has to tap down the Nighthawk.
At that point, yeah, you have to tap down the Nighthawk because Persecutor doesn't net him any advantage other than killing the Venser, which either would have done anyway. You're preventing the life gain.
Yep, for sure.
But, it's kind of interesting.
You can't let Venser bounce that Tumble Magnet. You had to get that Tumble Magnet out of there. This is another reason the deck with the red net, I think, is a little bit better because it gets artifact removal. Mono Black just has no way to deal with an artifact. It pretty much just rolls to battle.
The Black's color pie doesn't really have any effects against enchantments, artifacts.
Red can't deal with enchantments either, so. But I mean, at least artifacts in an artifact format.
White can deal with White can deal with everything, which is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous, which is also another reason why Cobblade is so good, because the sideboard hits whatever is relevant in the meta at that point.
Or you just into the royal it.
Yeah, well, I mean, into the royal isn't a permanent solution. Like, you into the royal, then you counter it, which really you're trading 2 cards for 1.
Yeah, for sure. But sometimes it's worth it to do that. If it's like a sword.
Well, yeah, and also blue lets you draw cards, which is why people say a point of contention, like, oh, well, you can draw all these extra cards. But in that case, what if you don't have the draw cards? Yeah. You're really losing it. What do you think about the list so far from M11? I mean, M12 that's been spoiled.
I haven't seen too much. I mean, I've seen the Bloodthirsty Dragon. I've seen Flame Blast Dragon, which I am a big fan of.
Flame Blast Dragon's pretty good.
I'm a huge fan of Flame Blast Dragon. I've seen the Treefolk, the Hexproof Treefolk, and I've seen Archon of Justice. I'm excited for Archon of Justice.
Yeah. As we were talking about vampires, and we're in this match, where I'm going to actually scroll on over to what the vampires are.
The Bloodthirsty.
The Bloodthirst ones, yeah.
Yep.
The
He seems alright.
Bloodlord of Vaskoth. I really don't like him at a 5 mana cost. Granted, the format's going to slow down a lot, I think, with
for sure.
this.
I think so too.
Where Bloodthirst will probably be huge.
I'm not a fan of Consume Spirit.
Consume Spirit, it's whatever. I think it's actually pretty good if you're going to be running like a Tezzeret, like how the old builds used to be with all the mana ramping.
I suppose.
I don't know. There's a lot. Child of Night makes a return.
Child of Night's pretty good.
Blood Rage Vampire, which is pretty... It's actually pretty terrible.
What, Child of Night?
No, Blood Rage Vampire. 3 mana, 4/0.
Bloodthirst 1.
3/1.
So it'll be a 4/2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll have any impact in Standard.
What I'm excited for, personally, is obviously the return of Doomblade, but...
For sure.
It's going to be Sorin's Thirst.
Sorin's Thirst.
2 black. Sorin's Thirst deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life.
It's just a Last Kiss. Cheaper. Or is Last Kiss the only player?
I was tempted to play Last Kiss.
You were once.
I was. Because I needed life gain against red decks, because they were so quick so early. I needed something to get me a little bit of advantage along with Nighthawk, because Nighthawk was already included.
It's true. Alright, and here back to the game.
Yep.
Trading tokens.
And that's fine. Alex had a huge
For the Lashwith token.
opportunity to put some distance and get this game in the win column. I mean... Souk's been holding on, as his deck normally will. It will draw games out. And keep in mind, this is only part 1. This game 1 goes on for quite a bit. Being an aggro matchup against a control matchup.
But again, his deck's isn't as much of an aggro deck. So he's going to draw, 8 cards here?
Yeah, looking like it. 1, 2, 3... 1,
I don't think
7 cards.
I don't think his deck can beat that card advantage. Drawing a full hand.
And then reshuffling everything back in. That's filthy.
Yep.
Oh, Blue
Pretty
Sun
much.
Zenith.
I had it in a draft deck a couple days ago.
At that point, honestly, I think I may have just scooped.
Yeah, you're drawing 7 cards.
New hand, plus you're not in a great board position anyway. So Souk has like 9 cards in hand because he did that at end of turn.
Untaps the Magnet.
He has that into the Royal in his hand. Blade Splicer. Preordain like he needs to look for anything else.
He needs to draw any more cards.
What are you filtering at this point?
All your lands go to the bottom.
Yeah.
Bottom. Rips off the top.
Well,
we will
continue
see
on
part
with
2
this.
of Game 1.
What will he get off the Preordain? Dun dun dun. So
These long games are brutal.
They are.
They're worse than the drive down here.
As you will see, there's Harrison's Comic Collectibles. Give him a call. Come down, see FNM. Visit, get into a feature match or 2. And we'll catch you with part 2 of Game 1. Ciao.